6:30. I'll call to order the Wednesday, March 19, 2025 Cedarburg School Board meeting. This is a regular meeting of the Cedarburg School Board and is a public meeting. Prior notices have been placed in the district and additional copies were forwarded to the City and Town of Cedarburg, as well as the News Graphic and the Milwaukee Journal Sentinel. Please stand and join us as we pledge allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, first up tonight we have recognitions. Dr. Clark.
All right. So my recognition is to talk a little bit about Mr. David Greer.
I think it's first to be the state.
Oh, the state project. So that would be Laura then. All right, Laura, we're going to give it to you.
Sounds good. And there's quite a few tonight. So the state of Wisconsin has declared the following proclamations. March 3rd is Social and Emotional Learning Day. March 2nd through the 8th is National School Social Work Week. March 3rd through the 7th is National School Breakfast Week. March 16th through the 22nd is Child and Adult Care Food Program Week. And then the last one is March 1st through the 31st is Music, Art, Dance, and Theater in Our Schools Month. And all proclamations are available on the district's Board Docs webpage. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, now, Mr. David Greer, this is his last board meeting. He is not running for re-election, and so he will have tons of free time after this. But I just wanted to say a couple of words. Mr. Greer was elected to the Cedarburg School Board in April of 2012 and has been re-elected by the Cedarburg electors ever since. Mr. Greer has decided not to seek re-election in the upcoming election and has stepped down from his elected role. We would like to recognize Mr. Greer for his service to the Cedarburg School District, students, families, and community. During his 13 years on the CSD board, Mr. Greer has held numerous officer positions. He served as board treasurer for 6 years, board vice president for 4 years, and most recently board president for just shy of the last 2 years. In addition, Mr. Greer has served on 5 board committees. This service included 4 years on the Personnel and Finance Committee, 5 years on the Insurance Committee, 10 years on the Negotiations Committee, 11 years on the Curriculum Committee, and 11 years on the Policy Committee, of which he has served as committee chair for the last 3 years. Mr. Greer, your time on the Cedarburg School Board draws to a close. We want to express our sincere gratitude for your service. Board service is a selfless commitment that sometimes can be difficult and time-consuming. Supporting student achievement is the shared goal of any school board member who cares about our schools and our community. And your attentiveness to serving students and families in Cedarburg has been evident and inspiring. You took on your board duties with true leadership, dedication, seriousness, and above all, true desire to support the district and our students. Thank you, Mr. Greer. We wish you all the best in your future endeavors. And we have a little gift for you. Yeah, Mr. Greer, you've always wanted a gavel.
Thank you. Dr. Clark, thank you for the kind words. I really appreciate it. I'm not going to say a whole lot. I want to get to the good part of the meeting. No, thank you for those words. I'd also like to thank the Cedarburg community for the honor of serving as your representative. Really appreciate the confidence and trust you placed in me, and thank you to all of our board members. The board's the district, I think, is in a really good place right now. One of the reasons I'm stepping down or not running for election anyway. We're in really good shape financially, staffing wise, facilities, academics, and so just want to make sure hopefully we keep everything going along, get to the next level, and go Bulldogs. That's all I got.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Next, we have the consent agenda. Dr. Clark.
All right, with regards to the consent agenda, board members, I ask that you approve the minutes from the regular board meeting on February 19th, 2025. The budget and finance report, which includes a summary of accounts, check register, check detail, and credit card transaction reports, and the personnel report. Mr. DeRosa, Director of Human Resources, will provide a brief overview of the personnel report.
Thank you, Dr. Clark. As you can see on the report, been a very busy time for our building administrators and district office with all of our hirings, along with some staff separations and retirements. With the classified staff, I would like to highlight Erica Tops, who was hired in July of 2022 as our data and assessment coordinator, and she was absolutely instrumental in providing the data that's necessary for school leaders and staff to make decisions, on top of all the background work she's constantly doing in Skyward. So I want to make sure I recognize Erica this evening. With our certified staff, seeking board approval for the separations of Dave Eswagan, who's retiring from Webster as band teacher, Marissa Fisher, resigning her choir position at Webster, Seth Cronke, Fire Ed teacher at West Lawn, and Nicole Ward, assistant principal at Webster. I'll say a few words about you in a minute. And then seeking approval for the recommended hires, Kate Darling at CHS, Morgan Kapler at Webster, and Tiffany Latour at Webster. Two other people I do want to highlight. Davis Wagon started with the Cedarburg School District for the 2003-2004 school year, 21 years between the elementary schools and Webster. And if anyone knows Dave, you can feel his passion in what he does in the band program and how he has built that program up and has continued into the high school. So Dave will definitely be missed. And then lastly, Nicole Ward, I hired you in 2020 as an instructional coach, and after 3 years in that role, you moved into the AP role at Webster. Working with Nicole has just been a pleasure. I'm so happy for her. I'm so proud of her. And obviously, she was very instrumental in Webster's journey to becoming a PLC school. And certainly want to wish you the best as you move on to another district.
For those of you that, excuse me, I can't talk this evening. For those of you that don't know, Nicole has been hired as the principal at Indian Hill and the Maple Indian Hill School District. And so she'll start that July 1st. She's still with us for a while, but we'll congratulate her for that.
That concludes the personnel report.
I would entertain a motion on the consent agenda.
I motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
Motion and a second. Is there any discussion? All right, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Thank you. Superintendent's report.
All right. This evening we have two items we would like to report to on the board. The first item is a presentation from our elementary schools, Girls in STEAM. Miss Katie Ramos, West Lawn principal, and Miss Brittany Kleba, Parkview principal, will introduce the team.
Good evening. Thank you so much for having us. We're so excited to be here to highlight the amazing program that we have at all three elementary schools that has quite a long history. And we have some amazing teachers and staff members who lead our students in learning more about all of the different options within STEAM, and we're really excited to highlight that for you this evening. So I will introduce Sherry Rowe, who's going to speak a little bit about the history of our Girls in STEAM.
Hello, I'm Sherry Rowe, the elementary math coach. And yes, I was here when Girls in STEAM started. So on the next slide, there's a timeline. And the idea started in 2019 from a fourth grade teacher at Parkview called Teresa Seifert. She reached out to Krista Penrod and myself and said, hey, I have an idea. I would love to introduce girls in grades 3 through 5 to other careers, opportunities in the STEAM field. She said, I don't have a budget, I just have a dream and idea. Great. We said, let's roll with it. So that year, we offered monthly clubs to over 30 girls in grades 3 through 5. We called our friends, relatives, neighbors, and asked anyone, please come and volunteer your time and your services to get the club up and running. It was very successful. So we wrote a CEF grant, and we said, could you please help us extend this to all 3 elementary schools? They were wonderful. They said yes. Well, then COVID hit. And so everything paused. And so that is the gap from 2019 to 2022. In 2022, we still had these funds. There were no clubs up and running, and we thought, what do we do now? So we decided to host a Girls in STEAM Saturday at the high school in the Innovation Center to really get girls interested in the classes that were offered at the middle school and high school. Over 100 students came. We had a keynote speaker from Milwaukee Tool, wonderful opportunity, and that was the kickoff or the launch to starting the clubs at all 3 schools. So then we reached out to CEF for a second time. We said, could you please fund these clubs a second time to really get them up and started this time? And they said, yes, we would be happy to. So in 2023, all 3 schools started. The family said, could you please host another Girls in STEAM Saturday? Sure. So this time it was a culmination. The girls from all 3 schools came together on that Saturday to share opportunities, talk about their year, celebrate, and from that moment on, we have had clubs at all 3 schools. So tonight, we have girls from each school that will share their opportunities and experiences. The next slide, there we go, is background information that I talked about. One common theme on the next slide is design and engineering process. This every student has seen at the Cedarburg School District, and we felt that it was a foundational piece of all of our clubs. And as they describe their experiences tonight, I am sure you will see and hear all of the steps. We look forward to hearing from the girls. And first up is... That's just all that's is. Next slide. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Ayla, and this is my second year in Girls in STEAM. For each of our meetings, we meet different women in the STEAM field and learn how their careers relate to different concepts of STEAM. We have seen careers in the medical field and put together human skeletons and learn from a scientist about polymers and talked to a web designer and created layouts for an app. We also use what's in our makerspace and explore different items, like using the heat press to make a shirt. Hello, I'm Lillian. I wanted to highlight an amazing opportunity we had this year. Mrs. Slave worked really hard to get Caitlin Hens to come and speak to not only our club, but the other clubs as well. She's an education outreach specialist for the Storytelling with Data organization and focused on the book Daphne Draws Data. After reading the book, we collected data about our favorite lunch spots in Cedarburg. After collecting the data, we created a graph to display our collected data. We even had the added bonus of getting our book signed by the actual author as a keepsake. Hi, I'm Addie, a 5th grader from Thorson. I was in Girls in STEAM in 3rd grade and now again this year. I joined Girls in STEAM because it's fun and I like to learn new things. Hi, I'm Angie, also 5th grader from Thorson. I've been in Girls in STEAM all 3 years. I joined Girls in STEAM because it's fun and I like to learn about all the cool types of STEAM jobs. This year we made our own shirts again like we've done in the past, and water bottles. It was fun being able to weed the vinyl and put our shirts on the heat press. Also, we learned about being inventors and coming up with our own inventions. I invented a machine that picked out your own outfit, including your accessories and hairstyle all for you. Other activities we did this year were creating an art piece all together as a group. and we built fences. I liked the art piece because we didn't know what to expect for the final to look like. It ended up being colorful and different. We also participated in the Daphne Draws Data project, which Mark you explained. Another presenter we had was a clinical microbiologist. We tested the 5-second rule by putting French fries on the floor and picking them up for less than 5 seconds and more than 5 seconds. She took them back to her lab and put them in the incubator, and that is our results in the bottom right corner. Our results showed that our controlled French fry had very little bacteria growth. The less than 5 seconds had quite a bit more than the controlled French fry. And the more than 5 seconds had a lot of bacteria growth. The more than 10 seconds French fry had an extreme amount of bacteria, as you can see in our results. I like this activity because it was cool to see the difference in bacteria growth. I am definitely not following the 5-second rule.
Me either.
This year in Girls in STEAM, we did so many different activities. My favorite was probably the microbiologist because I've never seen so many different bacteria. Thank you for listening.
Good evening. I am here with a couple of Westland friends. We start our STEAM club in a few short weeks. So these ladies are going to be repeat participants and are here to share a few things that we've done in the past, last year. They even have a project here for you to see. I am going to ask them a few questions and just to highlight some of the other types of activities and events that we've had in the past at all of the schools, some of them at just individual schools, so that it's really a nice opportunity for us to share with the other teams and clubs and share resources. For instance, the Daphne Draws Data is going to be at all of the schools. We all enjoy making a good t-shirt, right, ladies? Yeah. But some of the buildings are able to get certain volunteers to describe and explain topics that maybe the other schools haven't, and so then they can share those names and those resources so that these ladies have multiple presentations in a variety of areas of STEAM. So we had a science of cooking lesson last year, which was very fun and interesting. This year, one new thing that we're bringing in is circuitry. So we have an electrical engineer scheduled to come in and don't tell the other girls. They are going to actually participate in a paper circuit making activity. So that's going to be new this year. Like I mentioned, we all love making our good t-shirts. We have a t-shirt press, a vinyl cutter. We also have sublimation printers, which is interesting because we've had to navigate and negotiate the different fabric blends of fiber arts. A lot of trial and error. So it's been a really good experience of perseverance. So again, our club filled up within 2 hours last week. So definitely a lot of interest, and it continues to grow. So I'm going to turn it over here to Lucy and Winifred to introduce themselves, and then I'm going to ask them a few questions. Ladies.
Hi, I'm Lucy. I love when we do all the fun experiments and making crystal plants and pencil towers. We have also done more fun things, but those are just a few. Hi, my name is Winifred, and I love Girls in STEAM because all of the fun activities and the fun project, like the crystal I made in Girls in STEAM.
Can you show them? Can you walk it around? Show them. Lucy, tell us how you made the crystal project.
We used this powder and put it in water, and we had to let it sit for a few days, and then it formed, and we put a little pot on the end, so it was like a plant.
Winifred, how have you had to learn and use perseverance in your Girls in STEAM club?
I've had to start over and try new ideas, and then going through the process again.
And Lucy, can you just tell us how you had to use teamwork a lot in the activities?
We all had to get for the pencil making tower, we had a few groups, and we all made them together, and we had it might have kept falling over because the pencils are hard to stay like put. So we had to make a strong base so it could stay.
Thank you, Lucy and Winifred, and thank you to all of these young ladies and staff members who volunteer their time for this. So I'd love to congratulate and thank them and give them a round of applause. Thank you for allowing us to present a little bit. It takes a lot of courage to stand up here, whether you are 9 or 39. So we're going to open it up to the board if you guys have any questions. I know these ladies are ready, willing, and able to answer them.
I'd like to say thank you for coming out and making this presentation. I know it's probably not the most fun thing to do on a Wednesday night, but y'all did just a fantastic job. It's really nice to see. I do have, well, first of all, thank you for setting us straight on the 5-second rule. I always had my suspicions. And I'm also curious as to what your results were on the Cedarburg restaurants. It's kind of hard to see from the.
So the choices we had is the Chocolate Factory, Lime Cantina, Anvil, Out and Out, and the Stilt House.
Okay.
And then, so for the Chocolate Factory, 16 people liked it the most. For Lime Cantina, 3 people. For Anvil, also 3 people. For Out and Out, there were 12 people who liked it. And then for Stilt House, there were 9.
Very good.
What was the best restaurant for lunch?
Yeah. Good. Thank you.
Thorson did the same activity, and I think who won for us? Was it Out and Out?
Did you do any follow-up to see maybe why? Because I suspect both of the top places also serve ice cream. You guys are fantastic. You should all be so proud of yourselves to go up there and speak in front of everyone adults. You probably haven't seen most of us before. Well, I don't know if I speak for the rest of the board, but I would love a t-shirt. Oh, we don't need a t-shirt. I know how much fun meeting can be. And I don't know if your thoughts on this, Dr. Clark, but I think we might need a short video on the 5-second rule that can play an announcement at all of the students, so that our middle schoolers and high schoolers are aware too of the 5-second rule.
Well.
That'd be awesome.
And we want to make sure we have pictures of the results.
Andy said she would still follow it at home because her mom cleans so nice.
Oh, there you go.
You are welcome to come on the night that we make shirts and help me. We can let you know. All hands on deck.
I have one question. Has anyone had a new idea of a career or like future college or something about your future that maybe you're thinking about now from being in this club that you hadn't thought of before?
Actually, I have. The clinical microbiologist was really interesting to see all of the bacteria and how you can find that by just putting it in an incubator and watching it grow. I think that is very fascinating.
Well, thank you.
I would just like to thank you all. You're all very brave, and it was very interesting. And just keep learning, keep exploring, and we really do need women in STEAM out there. So keep going. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And don't feel obligated to stay. We are not ready to go.
Thank you.
All right. I did want to spend a couple of minutes just talking about some recent happenings in CSD. The first is I would like to congratulate the CHS boys basketball team who are advancing to C. The first game is Friday at 1:35 p.m. at the Kohl Center in Madison. If you can't make it to the game, you can always watch it on Channel 24. Secondly, I would like to commend our elementary schools for their phenomenal support of the Stuff Bus event last week. You may have seen the news segment last week regarding the event in which our elementary students gathered food items and donated them to the Ozaki Food Alliance. This year, they collected 7,225 pounds of food. Awesome job. Thirdly, yesterday, CHS celebrated the annual 180 program. This is a program that recognizes and honors high school students who have improved their GPA by at least 0.75 over the last semester. It was inspiring to see all the students who have worked so hard. And finally, I would like to recognize Miss Kathy Wilson, Thorson music teacher, for winning the 2025 Civic Music Educator Award for General Music. In December, we had the privilege of hearing from Miss Wilson and many members of the elementary choir. Thank you for all of your hard work with and for our students. It is truly an award in which Miss Wilson is deserving. That concludes the superintendent's report.
All right, thank you, Dr. Clark. Next on our agenda is public comment. Nobody signed up, but is there anyone present who wishes to make public comment this evening? Seeing nobody, we will move to item 6, recommendations.
All right, this evening we have 5 recommendations to the board. The first recommendation is for the board to approve the CHS trip to Costa Rica during the summer of 2026. This is a Spanish immersion trip consisting of 10 days of travel where 10th and 11th grade Spanish students will apply skills and knowledge with the Spanish language and cultural elements that they have learned in class. This recommendation is being forwarded to the full board for approval by the curriculum committee.
And it was reviewed by the curriculum committee and recommended for approval, correct?
Correct, yep.
Okay.
I will make a motion to approve the CHS trip to Costa Rica during the summer of 2026.
I will second.
Motion and a second. Is there discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously.
All right. The next recommendation is for the board to approve the 5K through 3rd grade Creating Connections program beginning with the 2025-26 school year. This program will allow CSD to provide support to students without using an alternative placement. This recommendation is being forwarded to the full board for approval by the curriculum committee.
I'll move that the board approve the 5K through 3 Creating Connections program beginning with the 2025-26 school year as presented.
I'll second.
Motion and a second. Is there any discussion? All right, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? The motion passes unanimously.
The next recommendation is for the board to approve the transfer of neighborhood 49, want to go to the next slide real quick? Neighborhood 49 from the Thorson Elementary School attendance boundary to the Parkview Elementary School attendance boundary. This transfer is based upon the information we learned from the report from MD Roppers that they provided to the district in December regarding enrollment growth through 2040. By making this transfer, we anticipate that all elementary schools will have the capacity to handle our student population. Currently, no students live in neighborhood 49, so by transferring, it is not impacting any students at the present time. This recommendation is being forwarded to the full board for approval by the Personnel and Finance Committee.
And then, again, it was forward for approval. And when I started on the board all those years ago, I was told by one of the board members, never, ever, ever, no matter what you do, change the elementary school boundaries. It's the most controversial thing you're ever going to consider. This is a fantastic way to do it. There are no students in the boundary that's affected. So, nice work.
I would make a motion to approve the transfer of neighborhood 49 from Thorson Elementary School attendance boundary to the Parkview Elementary School attendance boundary as presented.
I will second that motion.
Motion and a second. Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes unanimously.
All right, the next recommendation is for the board to approve the bid from Munson Tennis Court Division for the resurfacing work on the JV tennis courts. The JV tennis courts are the ones that are in between the high school and the middle school. The total cost of this project will be $72,000 with $16,921.14 coming from the Community Service Fund 84 fund balance. This recommendation is being forwarded to the full board for approval by the Buildings and Grounds Committee.
I would make a motion to approve the Munson Tennis Court Division bid for resurfacing work on the JV tennis courts as presented.
Second.
Motion and a second. Is there discussion?
I guess I just want to add thank you for getting the multiple bids that you get on both this project and the road. So thank you for that.
Thanks. Anything further? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes unanimously.
The last recommendation is for the board to approve the bid from Walsdorf Roofing for the Webster Middle School roof replacement work. The total cost of the project will be $245,997. This price includes the bid, contingency, and project management. Of note, we had originally anticipated that this project would cost $265,000. This recommendation is being forwarded to the full board for approval by the Buildings and Grounds Committee.
A motion to approve the bid from Wellstar Roofing for the Webster Middle School roof replacement work as presented.
I will second.
Motion and a second. Is there any discussion?
This is coming from Fund 46, right?
Correct. This is from
Okay.
Fund 46.
Okay. And two, while the recommendation is coming from Buildings and Grounds Committee, Personnel and Finance also looked at this as well. So it's not just one committee that looked at it.
Yeah, just for a little background information. In order to use Fund 46, any of the projects must be on a long-term capital project plan. And the plan is something that is talked about in both Personnel and Finance and Buildings and Grounds Committee in December. And then in January, the board approves that plan.
Anything further? All right, got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes unanimously.
And we are done with recommendations for the evening.
All right, thank you, Dr. Clark. That moves us to the committee reports. And the first one on the list is the Curriculum Committee. Elizabeth Sharp.
Yes, we met on March 11th and talked about 4 items. First was the high school English 11 pilot. So Liz Smith attended and gave an overview of how the pilot of the BFW curriculum went, some pros and cons, some concerns about the rigor and the teacher resources, and they are currently doing a 3rd pilot with English 11 of the HMH into literature, which is also the curriculum taught at Webster currently. So we will hear more about that at a future curriculum committee meeting. Next, we had an in-depth discussion on that Costa Rica immersion trip with the Spanish department that we approved just a few minutes ago. So that's summer 2026. And we had both Ms. Schrader and Mr. Casey there from the Spanish department who answered all of our questions, gave us an overview. We talked about insurance and safety and all kinds of stuff. Next, we had a follow-up conversation with Kara on the special ed K-5 through 3rd grade Creating Connections program that we also approved too. If anyone's curious about that program, definitely look in the curriculum committee slides that are in board docs. There's Kara had 2 really good PowerPoint presentations that have tons of information about that. But basically that's going to be an in-district behavioral program option as an alternative to alternative placements based on an IEP. And lastly, we had a brief update on the Webster homeroom resources. Talked about the group that has prioritized their look fors, or what are they looking for in a program. And the goal of this group is to narrow a list down to about 4 resources that we will hear more about at a future meeting. And our next meeting is April 9th. Thank you.
Thank you. Personnel and Finance Committee, Kate Netzel.
So we had 2 meetings this past month. On the 26th of February, we met and discussed the annual fund balance designations, just an update on where those funds are. We also talked about the Cedarburg High School Foods Room possible renovation, just in the preliminary stages of discussing what that might look like and how that might be funded. And then also a Parkview Playground update for the renovations going on there. And then we met again on March 12th. We discussed the elementary boundary realignment that we just voted on. We got an update on the 24-25 budgets and where those are coming in, and also an update on the health insurance, as that was new for our district this year. We took a look at the 25-26 Fund 80 budget, which includes the Cedarburg Performing Arts, the CPAC.
Center.
Yes, thank you. We also took a look at the 25-26 budget, as the planning for that is underway, and then also personnel update for the 25-26 school year. We have a future meeting date of May 14th, 2025.
Thank you.
And then I also have the building.
Now we have
grounds.
buildings and grounds, yes.
Okay. We met on Tuesday, March 18th. We discussed 25-26 facility use fees. Those are not being changed, but just looked at each year. We got an update on the projects planned for summer, and also talked about the Webster roof replacement, which we just voted on. We also touched on the Cedarburg High School foods room renovation and took a look at what that might look like. We talked about the varsity soccer field and softball refresh. They're having what's called phrase mowing done to resurface those fields. We also talked about athletic recognition wall and some changes that might be coming to the high school with that. And then also the JV tennis courts resurfacing that we just voted on. We have a future meeting date of June 25th.
All right, thank you very much. That leads us to item 8, which is adjournment into executive session. So I will entertain a motion to adjourn into executive session to consider employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data of any public employee over which the governmental body has jurisdiction or exercises a responsibility pursuant to 19.851C of the Wisconsin statutes. A, to consider market adjustments for specific administrators. It is anticipated that the board may reconvene into open session and may take action on one or more of the executive session items. And then also including a approval of executive session minutes of the January 15, 2025 meeting. And I will take a roll call vote once I have the motion.
I motion to adjourn into executive session.
I will second.
Motion and a second. Is there any discussion? All right, we'll do a roll call vote. Charlene?
Aye.
Netzel?
Aye.
Strobel?
Aye.
Erickson?
Aye.
Silvaggi?
Aye.
Kincaid?
Aye.
Career is also an aye, so that motion also passes unanimously, and we are adjourned.
Very nice, very nice.
Thank you.